Sean, you've been traveling?
Yeah, this summer I was, and I try to travel at least once a year. I try to work the whole year and then have enough money to fly. Yeah.
That's very smart, very intelligent.
But this summer I went from Germany to Kazakhstan.
Really?
Yeah, for 2 months I went east and all through Central Asia.
You're not scared?
No.
It's area of terrorists.
No.
How did they treat you?
Amazing, especially in Central Asia. Very hospitable people, especially in Uzbekistan. I got invited to a wedding. I was the only American there to get guests. It was very nice. And, people drove me to, I was going to take a taxi across 400 miles or something, and someone drove me. And I got to stay on his family's apricot farm, and spent 3 days with them, and they showed me all around the area. So a lot of good time.
Hospitality, that is something that is very, very ingrained in Islamic culture. We take it for granted until we meet, like Jim, who says everyone's being so warm, it's nothing special. Wait till we treat you special then. Like when you good. Then sometimes we turn around and we look, people, they're not. You see, this is the level of and this is hospitality, it's part of spirituality. Okay? Like, it's what is called manners, right? And in Sufism, in Islamic manners, when a guest comes to your house, you never ask the guest, what can I get you? And this is just difference. I'm not placing a judgment, okay? Because now we are bound by certain protocols. The guest never says, I want. And the host never says, what do you want? Because it shows what? It shows ego, no? So if I'm invited to a place, like our Shaykh Mawlana, our Grand Shaykh was invited, we never say that we want. It is, again, it is ego to say, I want, give me a glass of water. If you really need it, there is a way to ask nicely. This is important because it shows a certain finesse, certain manner, a certain gentleness also. Somebody asked him, well, what can I get you? What do you want to drink? He says, I don't want anything. So that host says, okay, I'm going to make myself a cup of coffee. So she made herself a cup of coffee in front of our Grand Shaykh, and please give us some sohbet, and she drinks. And our Grand Shaykh is sitting down, not drinking anything. In Islamic manners, the guest comes, immediately you give something without them asking. Yeah? And among the Ottomans and the Turks, especially in the old days, they give them not water or tea, they give them soup first. Then you gauge by the way that your guest eats whether he's really hungry, he's local, he's not, his state of mind, everything. Now tell me that doesn't make a man more intelligent, because you observe, you start reading. What is more interesting to read than a human? All books also comes from humans. So once you start reading each other, you're going to make so much progress. Now those ones, especially in the Muslim countries, it's very, very important for us. Because they say the guest, it comes and it brings 7 blessings to you. And it removes 7 curses from you. It doesn't fall on the guest, it helps to remove them. So it's very important to us, especially around Central Asia. The Turkish notion of hospitality is different also. It's pretty elevated.
It was amazing the whole time.
But they also trusted you because you have a clean heart.
You
have a clean face.
Thank you.
Yeah. Otherwise, these people too don't think that they are naive people. They are not. They're very slick people too. But they know people that they like, and they are clean, and they trust. What are you saying?
I said it's just amazing. The last couple of years I've been to a couple Muslim countries, and I think those are the ones I had the best times in, because it's just best food, and you know, even when I'm full, they still keep coming with all of, you know, it's hard to say no to all that hospitality. You know, like I said, there's differences, but I'd definitely love to go back, and just the history.
The history, yeah. Very rich. Yeah.
Jim's been to Malaysia and a few other countries out there.
Oh, you've been to Malaysia?
Singapore?
Singapore too. Singapore is a little bit different.
Yeah, Malacca.
You've been to Malacca? That's good. My father's family is originally from Malacca.
Ah,
Yeah. From Sumatra, from Aceh.
mm.
We went to
Aceh.
Malacca, yeah. And that also is there's a different type, a different brand of Islam over there. Malaysia is different. Have you been to Indonesia?
No.
You should try. It's worlds apart, very different people. Their ideas, their practice of Islam is also very different. Then, if you get a chance, you go there too. It'll be good for you. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Traveling is also a. Now, how. See, there are certain things that Muslims cannot understand. We don't understand how there can be a separation between something that is sacred and something that is secular. We don't really understand that. Because to us, if you're remembering and you're putting good intentions into something mundane, something secular becomes sacred. And it's not sacred in the sense it is holy and untouchable, it just becomes blessed, it becomes complete. Eating is an animalistic action, secular, so to speak. Angels in our tradition, especially, they don't eat. But when you eat now, and you say Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, and you chew, and with every mouthful you chew, you say Allah, and when you swallow, you say Alhamdulillah, that itself becomes a zikr, a chanting. So that becomes more complete now. So, I'm saying that because it's like our lifestyle now, it imitates what the Prophet brought. And the Prophet brought religion and spirituality that is not separate from our lifestyle. You love your children, that becomes an act of worship. You give your husband a glass of water. For the women, you give your husband a glass of water that is worth more than 50 Hajj. So mundane acts takes on a huge importance, and it brings you great satisfaction now, because now you don't have to have a lot of knowledge, book knowledge, to become close to Allah. You don't have to stay up all night to worship to become close. Now you become more awake in your actions, and that is the whole point. To be awake and to know that your Lord is always there with you. So, certain things we don't understand, how there is a separation. So to us, for example, welcoming a stranger, we say because Prophet said, and we did it, and we feel good. We don't pat ourselves in the back and say that we've become holy because we've done that, because it feels good, and it's nice, and it works. Alhamdulillah. Inshallah. But Southeast Asia is different. It's a little bit.
I think a lot of Americans are afraid to try new things or welcome new people that they're not familiar with, and that's one of the reasons I like traveling. Is because you can go down the street and just start talking to someone. Like I met them just at Home Depot.
Yeah.
I saw his Uzbekistani kopa.
Yeah.
And I was like, said Uzbekistani, and we started talking, and here me and Jim are right now. So I mean, I feel like that's just kind of there's sometimes a little bit more of a modern American thing that a lot of people are a little afraid to reach out or,
Sure.
you know.
That's understandable too. I mean, if you are parochial, you just keep to yourselves. Of course, you're not going to welcome the other. But if you're always growing up with different peoples, you know, then you sort of overcome it. It's not to say that everyone is now one big happy family and we say that we're all equal, but you know, you don't become racist. You recognize differences. You can make fun of that differences. You can say, oh, look at that yellow Chinese guy. But it doesn't stem from hatred. Because you grew up together, you know where it's coming from. You understand? And this is something that, like for a lot of Muslims, we grew up also, especially if you're a Muslim in America, it's a given that you have to know at least 2, 3, 4 different nationalities and races and cuisines, and everything comes together with it. You can never now say you want to be alone and be by yourself in your own. But that's another thing. If Americans travel more, they will learn so much more. They become much, much, much more advanced people. You do. Because there's nothing so important as traveling. I was about to say, because now even traveling, it is an act of worship now, according to Islam and Sufism, because the Prophet traveled. And it is the act of every Prophet that he travels. He's always rejected by his hometown, by his people, and always travels. And Muslims take that, so we always travel, you know. And it becomes now an act of worship now, to travel and to see, to learn, and to come back. Can only become better people if you do that. Or if Americans, more and more Americans do that, it will change a lot of things. But they make sure there are certain things in America that pulls people, that they'll never want to leave their couches. You want to go, but hey, there's what? Dancing with the Stars? Dancing. Yes, American Idol. There's all these things that keeps you glued. Yeah. But once you start doing that and you overcome that, very advanced people you can become. Yeah. Better than Europeans. Yeah. Americans don't. Certain things that are there that are very admirable. Anyway, so you're welcome. Come and visit us anytime.
Well, thank you so much
Okay.
for the invitation.
Jim, you work at where do you work? SUNY?
Yeah, I teach at college.
Okay. So what do you teach?
It's geography.
Geography. That's good. When were you in Malaysia?
2010.
Really, 2000.
That's the first year I was a student.
It's very hot there, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially when you leave upstate New York in March and drop down into Malacca.
Wow. I remember when I came here from Singapore, from Malaysia, and I went to college, and the first break I had, I went back to Singapore. And I was used to, because it was a fall semester, so I spent fall and winter, good part of winter there. Then I went back and went to the airport. And Singapore airport is the best airport in the world, of course. It's like top notch. It's like a hotel lobby, right? It's not a bus station. It's a hotel. They say that I remember I was coming out, and once those doors opens, I swear to you, I couldn't breathe. It's not an exaggeration. It's like somebody threw a bucket of water in my face because of the humidity, right? I'm sure those of you who travel, you know what I'm talking about. It took me a while to get used to it. It's good too. Now we're mountain people. Yeah, Alhamdulillah. Okay, anything else anyone is saying? Yes.
I was reading Shaykh Nazim's Sohbet online, and he said that after you die, you are prepared to go into the divine presence. Either you prepare yourself on earth, or you are prepared after you die. And the stations